GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
For online one-to-one music lessons with top musicians, visit BMusician.com.
I was originally cast as one of the side bad guys. I was not the main Thuppaki villain.
Hello, Vidyut Jammwal. Welcome to Galatta Plus.
Thank you.
You've been chosen as one of 2023's top martial artists in the world. What does it take to get there?
Simplified, like what a martial artist means is not somebody who's really fighting in the ring. Martial artist is a little more than that. It involves somebody who speaks about the art with philosophy and with the in-depth knowledge of why we're doing something, whether we harm somebody or we heal somebody. So if you know the philosophy of it, I think they choose you as a martial artist or somebody who can represent a special martial art.
So you're
think
more,
that's the
it's more like a
criteria.
spokesperson for.
Could be a representative for it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's not about the actual fighting, because I was thinking there are so many types of martial arts. How do they evaluate one versus the other? But this is more like somebody.
I think how you represented the art, how much you know about it, how much you're spreading the word. Like you said, there's so many martial arts, but very few people know that the Indian martial art, that is Kalaripayattu, is the mother of all martial arts.
Right.
So from Kung Fu, Jiu-Jitsu, everybody is a seed that has come out from Kalaripayattu. So when you represent a art like that, you feel very proud of it.
Right. So is there this tendency sometimes when these lists come out, right, to reduce you to somebody who just fights? I'm going to take the example of Jackie Chan. I think I have a few questions where Jackie Chan's name is going to come up, so excuse me in advance. But in an interview with the British talk show host Graham Norton, Jackie Chan said this. He's like, everybody says, "Hey, look, there's Jackie Chan," and like that's how everybody kind of looked at him. And he's like, when Robert De Niro goes there, they say, "Hey, look, there's Robert De Niro," but then, "Hey, Jackie Chan," So he said, after a point, it gets like you're just being reduced to this one guy he was being very like serious about that. He was even asking the host, "Are you going to do that as well?" And then the host said, "No, I'm not going to do that." But does it sometimes get that, you're just put in this box that, okay, he's this guy who fights and does nothing else?
It's a good box to be in to start with.
Okay.
Why not? I feel very nice. And I watched that interview with Jackie Chan, and I have to say he was trying to be a bit funny.
He was.
And he was complimenting.
There was also a bit of, he was saying something that he really felt about, He was saying it in a nice way, but that Robert De Niro point was there. Like he was saying that, they don't give me the same kind of that awe, whatever it is that they
But
did.
they don't give him the same kind of awe too.
Right.
So, no, I'm happy with the way people see me. I like the box that I am in. I enjoy being in it. And when I'm not happy being in it, I'll find another box to be in.
Right. Bruce Lee's most famous quotes is "Be like water," right? It's like you take the shape of whatever you're put into.
It's Lao Tzu's quote. Bruce
That
Lee just said
he
it.
kind
yes.
of appropriate, but now everybody knows it as Bruce Lee's quote, and he really believed in that. Similarly, one of Jackie Chan's, I really like this quote where he said, "The best fights are the ones that you avoid." I something really clicked with you when he said that, and you've also said that Kalaripayattu is something that helped you find your soul. Two questions from here. One is, why are a lot of people who put their body through a lot of, I don't know if this is the right word for it, but a lot of stress, do something very, very physically hard, they all have a very philosophical side to them, if you've noticed. And so I want to know what that is about. And second thing is, how did Kalaripayattu help you find your soul?
So in Kalaripayattu, they say before you learn how to harm, you need to learn how to heal.
Okay.
So when I talk about a martial artist is not somebody who just fights in the ring.
Right.
He will know how to heal a person. So if I know every part of my anatomy, how it moves, which direction it's safe in, then you can fix it and break it too.
Right.
So I believe to be a true martial artist or a fighter, you need to know how to heal to start with. And if you know how to heal, you can heal yourself too. And healing starts from healing yourself. Like they say, every cell in our body has divine intelligence. If you know how to connect with it, you're a different person altogether. So when you talk about people who take this beating and who go through this whole turmoil of being the best fighter or something, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of introspection. It's a lot of study of yourself and the other people. And they say that to know somebody else is being aware. To know yourself is to be enlightened. So I think a martial artist's journey is not only about fighting, it's all about figuring out everything about the human body and the mind.
Are there times that you ask, why am I doing that? Or is it worth it? Are those kinds of questions?
No, people ask me, why are you doing this?
Okay.
Why do you put yourself through this? Can't explain it to them, because once you go into it, you realize the benefits of something.
Right.
You put yourself in pain and you realize that pain has taught you so much about you, how you deal with it, how you would want other people to see it. It's different.
What has pain taught you?
Pain is of different forms, but if you just generalize pain as pain, I think it teaches you how to be humble to start with.
Okay.
It makes you a very humble being. If you accept pain with grace, it goes away to start with. So I think accepting an injury or accepting something that has happened to you in your life makes you a better person. And I think acceptance is everything. Once you accept that you've got injured, then you start figuring how to fix it. And once you start figuring how to fix it, you learn so much about yourself and the human anatomy. I think that's a great science to be in.
Right. So you're saying instead of complaining about it, try to think about it.
No, if it's happened to you, it's no sense to complain about something. Then you figure what you have to do. Why has it happened? Sometimes I've realized most of my injuries are psychosomatic in terms of I've thought about something. It's like if I've injured my shoulder, it has to do something that is in my mind.
Right.
There is something that is bothering it, something that's hindering it. And if I don't clean that system up, it injures my body. The human body and the mind is very well connected.
Right.
It just depends on how you see it.
You've just come here from visiting a doctor because you have some kind of pain. How does an external person contribute to this healing, and how do you contribute to this healing?
You know, to start with, first you try and fix yourself up. This is what I did.
Right.
I was attempting a world record. I was trying to put a lot of weight on my neck, and after I achieved it, I realized that I've like sprained my neck, and the pain goes to my scapula. So I tried to heal it from my awareness, and I realized the pain wasn't going. So then you have to get an MRI done. So I went for an MRI, and once you start seeing everything from the scientific approach and from the spiritual approach, healing becomes easier. So first you try to figure what's happened to you, then you go and take an opinion of what could have happened, and then you fix it.
Right.
So I think I'm in the fixing stage now.
Right. Now, let's say you're Khuda Hafiz, right? You're playing a common man, you're also playing a fighter. So there's two parts, one emotional part and one physical part in the movie. Now, the emotional part, let's say you're having a lines with your wife. Now that even if you're not up to it, there is somehow one can manage to deliver those lines because it's more like memory. But if you're physically harmed, then is it just like, can you power through that, or is it just like, okay, today's shoot is cancelled?
That's where acting comes in. You start just negating everything that is interrupting your process.
Right.
And I think every person I know, all the actors, they somehow do it. I know people who are stressed at home or at work, but when they come to shoot, they don't even talk about it. And they're those performers, and that's what makes them elite actors. I think that's the difference between a trained actor and an untrained actor, or an experienced actor and an inexperienced actor.
So you mean even if you had a fight scene in this situation that you're in right now, supposing you had to go to
We all
film,
do it.
you do that?
All the actors do it. I don't know many actors who would say, I will not come to the shoot,
Okay.
until and unless it's really bad. Like you have a plaster or something.
Okay.
Now, actors are very responsible people towards producers, towards directors, and I've witnessed it over the years that they really give in more than what people know. Like I said, I have a few friends who are going through certain things at home which cannot be shared, but they come on set and you just don't know what's happening to them. They're just professionals and they're excellent.
Okay. How has it been, doing the job of a producer?
I'd recently gone to Egypt to shoot for Khuda Hafiz, the second part.
Right.
And my high was that when I'd gone to shoot for Shakti, that was my first trip to Egypt. I was in a vanity van full of 6 bodybuilders, like not the vanity van, the full vanity van. The vanity van had 3 sections. So the smaller section was for these well-built boys, and it was extremely hot like we have in Egypt, and we were like stuffed in a room. But when I was in that room, I was so happy. I was like, look at this, we are in an air-conditioned room and everybody's standing outside. And now when I'd gone for Khuda Hafiz, we had like 2 different vanities, one for the clothes and one for us. And I was like, life is amazing. If you're happy at that moment, like the first time you were there and now you go again, I was equally happy. Like there was no change, like wow. No, I was like, wow, you just got to surrender to life. And like we were talking about surrendering, like when I'd gone for Thuppaki, I had 100% surrendered to Murugadas. Like everything he thought, everything he said, I was diligently listening to him. But the interesting part was that I was originally cast as one of the side bad guys. I was not the main Thuppaki villain. So the gentleman who was playing that character, I think 3 days before the shoot, said that I've got a Hindi movie, so I want to do that. 3 days before the shoot. And how lucky am I? So I remember meeting Murugadas that evening. I hadn't met him before. He'd seen my pictures and he had seen a video of mine from Shakti. When I went to his house, he looked at me, he said, I think you are the main villain. So I thought he's joking. No, really. So I didn't realize that the person who was supposed to play the character had left the role. And I couldn't believe it. And I thought maybe I've not understood what he said. And he said, you are the bad guy.
Right.
And I was like, all right. And I had not read the second part, like the guy's role. So when I went on set, I had read the imperceptible role. I didn't believe him. So lucky for me, he had offered me that role. And this is all destiny. Like I said,
Exactly.
you can't
I was just going to say
plan
that.
it.
Yeah.
I was happy being that other character too. But when I went on set, I was that character.
Yeah,
so when you ask me plan, you cannot plan. He's got a better plan. He's got a much better plan.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, for me, when I met Tarak also on the set, I remember like I had watched his videos dancing and I was quite enamored by the fact that this guy really moves well. He doesn't look like somebody who would move well.
Yeah.
Till you spend time with him, you realize he's got a great mind. So that's the only information I had because I had watched him. And when I spent time with him, I realized you cannot move like that if you're not as gentle in your head. That movement can only happen if you're as nimble in your head too.
Right.
Surya, like when I spend time with him, he's got the most intense gaze. Everybody says so. But he, like I said, his physical movement is so from within. He's so emotionally involved as a person also. When you have a conversation with him, he's involved in it. So everybody's like, I've had some great experiences with like Santhosh Sivan. He's genuinely eccentric. He doesn't need to prove it to people. He's brilliant. He comes in the room and he lights up the room without wasting time. And he's ready with the next shot even before the actor is.
He's really quick, yeah.
Like, he's brilliant and he's always smiling. He's always laughing. I like people like that. When we started Action Hero Films, the production, because I've been an actor and I've been watching movie shoots from every perspective. Like I used to be a smaller bad guy, then I became the main bad guy, then I became an action actor. So when I started producing, I realized that there are a few shortcomings that I had witnessed. One was, which we always talk about, is the hierarchy. Like we go to a foreign land, the director sits on a table, the actress sits on a table, the cameraman. So when we started Action Hero Films, there was no hierarchy. Everybody sat under the same roof. You could sit on any table. We made sure that for women, there's a separate toilet. Like they do have it, but separate only for women. There's no HOD, no top brass. Women, they're special. So these changes, like we change everything on the set with food. When I go on certain sets and movie shoots, I realize that some producers have great food. And you know, like being actors, like if I go to your house, my moms have this tendency. They'll ask you, what did he give you to eat? So when you go on a movie shoot, your family does ask you, how was the food? So we decided that on our set, we'll have the best food served to everyone. So these changes, I've been very happy being a part of the production because the things that I saw were a little, could be done better with, we've done that.
You already have the skill, you're showcasing it around the world. What made you say, I need to channel it through this medium of cinema as well?
See, there are two aspects of it. I'll give you the first that is very, the first aspect is that I believe, because I was doing shows as a young boy, traveling across the globe, performing Kalaripayattu, and I realized that it just used to last for that 1 hour and people forget about it. And whilst I was growing up, I realized the best way is either to professionally fight and represent your country, or cinema is the best way, because that's what spreads the word. If Jackie Chan is known across the globe for Kung Fu, and so is Bruce Lee, people know about it, why not represent this art through cinema? That is one aspect of it. And the other aspect, the true aspect, is life takes you in that direction. You can't take credit for the strategy or the beliefs that this is what I wanted to do, this is what I want to do. you just keep doing your work and life takes you there. And I think that's what's happened with me. I just kept training into the form of this art, and whatever I am today has been, I think the direction has been taken by this part of my destiny.
Are you talking about something like fate or destiny, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, you did not have a plan of entering films.
No.
Okay. It just kind of somebody saw you and said, I like the way this person looks, let me take, they gave you a screen test or something like that.
Nobody sees you like that. First you have to show yourself to them.
Where does that showing happen?
It's a long process. It's different for everybody, because I used to model, and the next progression from being a model is an actor. But it doesn't happen that easily.
Right.
But they say it's an easier way to do it. So I was modeling, and whilst I was modeling, I had this show reel of mine which had a lot of action in it, and I had this DVD which I used to give to anybody I met. It was like a portfolio, and like I said, destiny. I gave it to a friend of mine who gave it to a DOP in Hyderabad called Sameer, and Sameer showed the DVD to Tarak, and he saw it and he's like, why we should have him. And it was as simple as that. But the effort to make the DVD was a lot.
Right.
First you find the infrastructure, then you find people who believe that they should shoot the DVD for you. And then it gets easy. Like I said, if you keep working towards the skill you have or the art that you possess, things will happen.
During the initial stage of your career, you did quite a few films down south. You worked with Tarak, NTR Jr., you worked with Ajit, Surya, Vijay. These are big stars down there. Is there something that, because you are also very introspective and analytical person, is there something either professionally or personally through the way they handle themselves that you have imbibed in your own life?
You know, people ask me this a lot about the different actors I've worked with, and I've been fortunate to work with really these legends. First of all, they're not similar at all in any way. When you spend, because I've been very lucky to spend a lot of time with them, and I can say that they're my friends. They're also unique, and that's what makes them into who they are.
Right.
If anybody tries to live a day like them, also they will never be half of what they are, quarter of what they are. So I realized
Can
that.
you explain that?
Like, for example, Ajit is a very different human being. See, let's start with the fact that sometimes people find a certain actor humble and a certain actor not humble.
Right.
But when I see two people, they are humble. It depends on what side do you take out of these guys out. That's one. Ajit, like, you know, he's one of the nicest human beings. He's sincerely nice. He's so nice that you start believing that maybe he's just feigning it. But once you spend time with him, you realize he's genuinely a phenomenal guy. So is the case with Surya. He's not so outgoing with his expressions, but he gives you love if you know how to receive it. And same is the case with Vijay. Tarak, I have a special corner for because he's my first hero. And from playing an imperceptible role in one of his movies to playing a slightly less imperceptible role to being a bad guy, he's been through that journey with me, and the love he's given me from the word go till today is, so they all are amazing people, and because I spend time with them, it's just that what do you get out of them? How do you see them? They're different people.
Have you also kind of given out some of your learnings, wisdom, so on and so forth to others?
I believe all the actors I've spent time with, leading actors, now other actors, if you give them a job of being a watchman, I promise you they will be the best watchman. Like the kind of focus we have in our industry, you could put them as a bartender and they'll be the best bartender. So that focus is incredible to start with. What do I give people? I really don't know. Like I said, it depends on what the other person wants to really learn or take.
Right.
Like when I put my videos, I don't tell them try and do this. I just put it out. And some people find it interesting. Some people find the fact that they can do it and they are tempted. So I think preaching or just talking about things that you want rather than that, action is the better word, like better way to go about it. So I believe that I just do things, and if people like it, they should do it.
After all these years, how have you settled into the film industry?
It's amazing. So when you're inside, you start getting everybody outside from the outside. Everybody who's in the periphery, who you see has talent. If you believe somebody has talent, that's the place to go.
Right.
So I'm quite happy to be in a place where I can see talent and I desire to work with them, and I request them and they work with me. Like when I recently shot for IB71, when the script came to us, the production of Action Hero Films, the first thought was, who's the director? Because you got to have a director who has a vision. And then we had a lot of names. And I had watched Ghazi Attack of Sankalp Reddy.
Sankalp, yeah.
And somehow he just came into my mind, and I was like, why don't we meet Sankalp? So then we started talking about Sankalp, and people said, you know, Sankalp, he lives in Hyderabad, he's a little arrogant. And I realized arrogance is a word which I love, because, you know, the person just might be it. So I flew to Hyderabad and I met Sankalp. The moment I entered his office, I realized he's a very, very nice human being. He's just not social. He doesn't exchange too many pleasantries, because this is how he is. But as a human being, he's an elite human being. So in a place like where I am, it's amazing to just see talent, and if you have a desire, work with them. So being inside, I'm enjoying getting everybody from the periphery.
Right, right. Now your films are among the movies. Now that you're little inside the circle, your films are among the biggest return on investment earners. So they're really profitable films. They make a lot of money, and yet there is this feeling that somehow the establishment is a little, I don't know how to word this really, but a little unrecognizing of you, maybe is the word for it. I don't know, because there was the time you put out that tweet when you were not invited to this event where films of other actors were showcased. Has that become better? Like,
I don't want it to be better.
Sorry.
So, you know, the perspective is not mine. Like when I meet people and then they tell me that, you know, Vidyut, I believe you deserve more. And I hear this a lot. I see it as a compliment to start with, because people genuinely believe I deserve more. And what I have received in my life is much more than that I had imagined for. So it feels very nice. It feels that people believe that you can be somewhere better in their head. So I like this feeling. It's a great place to be.
Okay.
It's a great place to be where everybody wants you to be somewhere. So it's their vision, it's their desire, it's their prayers that make me be where I am. So I've left it on God. Wherever He wants me to be placed, I'll be there. But I promise you, I'll be happy.
That's one of the first things you said before we started this interview, that I asked, how are you? And you said happy.
I am happy.
That's like, the people usually say, good, I'm good. But then you said happy.
I was happy.
Yeah.
I was excited to be here. So.
How do you define happiness?
You can't define happiness. It's just a feeling.
Right.
If you, like, if a child asks me this, that how are you happy and how should one be happy, I think one of the ways you can see is if you can make everybody around you happy, and you don't have to make anybody by making an effort. If you're happy from within, you'll see everybody around you being happy. I think that's how I see, like when somebody walks into a room and there's a feeling of being happy, that means that person is emitting some amazing happiness. I think that's how you can, yeah, I think that's what it is.
Right.
People can say they're happy, but if you don't feel happy being around them, they're not.
I did tell you there were going to be some Jackie Chan references. Here's another one. One of the recent things that he said is, now that he's a little older, he can't do the kind of stunts that he used to do earlier, or you know, his mobility is not as great as it used to be. So he said that, you know, now he's kind of, you know, scaling down on that part and concentrating more on other kinds of roles. Do you have a long-term, I know this is not the time, but I'm just...
This is the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now?
No, this is the time to ask me anything.
Right. How you want your acting career to pan out, because right now you're in the prime, you're saying I can do anything, I can act, I can fight, I can do this, all that, but there may be a time like
There's
decades.
There's no plan.
There's no plan, just...
They say, if you want to make fun of God, tell him your
if
plan.
you want to make God laugh, make something,
Yeah,
tell him your plans
plan.
or something like that. Yeah,
So I don't have a plan. I've never had a plan.
Okay.
How can you have a plan? Like, you can't have a plan. You just can desire a few things, and I write a journal, and the last I was writing about something because, like I said, I'm injured. A few things that I wrote about were that I would like to be healthy and fit for about 11 months a year. I can give that 1 month to just learn about the human body, the pain and the suffering. Similarly, I should have enough money to be able to help my friends who sometimes do need help.
Okay.
And you should have a certain amount of money that, you know, you have got some friends who need that money. So whilst I was writing, I was just the yin and yang. The yin means the part where I would like to have something, and the yang was the part where I thought will be the embellishments that come with that goodness, like they could be the bad ones. So why not distribute that into a percentage? So 11 months of prime health, 1 month of little pain, 11 months of extreme happiness, no loss, 1 month of loss. So I think I'm living it like that.
So when you do that thing of submerging yourself in ice, is that 1 month?
No, that's like extreme pleasure to start with. See, I do the Indian martial art Kalaripayattu, and how do you become a master? Nobody can anoint you as a master. There's certain yogic kriyas that you have to go through, and they're high end. I went into a beehive without any safety. It has to do a lot with your breathing. Then you submerge yourself in snow, you bury yourself in snow, just so that you know how to control your heart rate, your blood pressure. So that cannot be taught in a school. It cannot be taught through textbooks. You have to experience it. So as a Kalaripayattu practitioner, apart from being good with sticks, swords, blah, 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 you gotta be very good from within. You gotta like align your system all the time.
So that is, would I be right in saying, in a way, you're testing yourself?
I'm not testing myself. I think Leonardo da Vinci rightly said that if a human being doesn't experience every cell of his body and the ability of his human body, he's wasting his life.
Right.
So I'm not testing myself. I'm putting myself through processes which enhance me. I think we all should.
Okay.
Like I speak to people who go for a 9-to-5 job, or they're so busy with their lives where they don't have time for themselves. I just tell them it's not cool, because even if you're like walking or you're in a gymnasium for about half an hour, you should not have your phone. You should not even listen to music. You just should listen to the way you're breathing. You will learn so much about yourself. We distract ourselves with music. We distract ourselves with conversations. We distract ourselves with training partners. Imagine being with yourself. It's not as easy. But once you start enjoying the way you sound, the way your breath is, that workout is different. You get to know so much more about yourself.
So it's more like understanding yourself.
Everything is, you could be anything you want to if you know anything about yourself.
Right.
I tell people, I meet so many people from outside Bombay, and they ask me one question: how do I become an actor? Like, you can't give them an answer. So if you have a skill, it could be any skill. It could be dancing, it could be fighting, it could be acting, it could be cooking, it could be washing clothes. Be so good at it. Once you become good at one thing, you can really harness the rest of them.
Right. When you take so much care to have this body, because you're exercising, you're kind of trying out how can I push it and all that kind of stuff. Does it ever occur to you that maybe once in a while, when I'm playing, let's say the first half of Khuda Hafiz, let me do what Tom Hanks did in Castaway, which is like, I'm just going to eat nothing but samosas and pizza for 1 year and become like, have a belly and stuff like that, and then take it all away, and then, be this kind of a thing. Something that for most people is a normal kind of physique, but for you would be a very different kind of way to show yourself on screen. Has that thought ever crossed your mind?
I've heard it and I've thought about it, but everybody has a different process. Like,
right.
For somebody like me, if I like let's talk about the first part of Khuda Hafiz, the first section of it. If I wear something on top of me, I don't look like the guy who I am from within.
Right. I know
so
that
with me, it's not very difficult to subterfuge myself. So for me, I haven't been in a role where I have to really transform myself that. Apart from
so this
the
was
emotion.
a hypothetical question. Yeah. So
I haven't been given the opportunity so far, so I wouldn't know.
Okay. So, but you'd be open to it?
Of course.
Okay.
Like, if I'm open to going into snow, if I'm open to jumping off a cliff, why will I not be open to it?
No, because you treat the body like a temple, right? So
Yeah, but going through that process is also learning so much about you.
Right.
Like, starving yourself is a very difficult thing. Like, I was chatting with a friend of mine and I was like, try and stop your breath for 5 minutes. Forget everything else. Like you say, I can do this, I can stop your breath for 5 minutes.
This is your friend told you?
No, I told my friend
okay,
this.
Right.
We were chatting about it. And so you put yourself through anything, you learn so much about yourself. And I think it's all about investing in what you know.
Is it possible to hold one's breath for 5 minutes?
The world record, I think, is 18 minutes, and 7 minutes is easily done. I can hold it for about 4.5, 5 minutes.
Completely?
Yeah, you train. Nothing comes naturally to you.
Right.
Nothing comes. Like, even if you're gifted with something, if you have a natural gift, if you don't enhance it, you'll not be the best or excellent at it.
When you're not shooting, what is the average day like?
It's hectic. So, for example, today I had like a late morning. I had to go to the doctor. Normally I rise a little early when we're shooting. We leave at about 5:30 or so. I spend the whole night training. Training doesn't mean like just doing dumbbells or something. I keep writing about everything that I've experienced. I keep writing about different moves that can be done, everything that has been said no to, like the forms of martial arts, of gymnasium, of a certain sport, they tell you this is the wrong form. I tried doing them to realize, like, why is it wrong? Like, why do they say it's wrong? And I realized there's nothing wrong. If you keep, like, there are certain moves, like, for example, like, people do push-ups like that, and they say you should not do it like that. I tried doing it like that, then I started doing it like that, then I started
That
doing
is
it like
with
that.
your hands like
Yeah.
this. Okay.
So you realize the human body has a lot of ability, it's just that people limit it.
Right.
So when I'm not shooting, I'm trying to discover all these things. I'm trying to enhance the physical/mental ability.
Right.
Some way or other. It's not only by reading books, by sketching, by different ways. You can enhance yourself in different ways. As an actor, as a performer, as a human being, you just need to learn everything that's there.
Right. So is there any difference between physical acting and emotional acting? Because both of them are kinds of acting. Is there any actual difference, or are both kind of similar in
They're
some way?
intertwined.
Intertwined?
Has to be.
Okay.
Like, how will you get tears if you don't feel the emotion? It's a
Right.
physical expression.
Right.
But if you don't feel it from within, you won't.
Right.
Similarly, if you feel a lot of love, if you don't feel it from within, you won't feel it in your body. It's just the same thing.
Right, right. So when you do your physical acting, which is by physical acting I mean your stunts, are you particular that they don't misrepresent a particular martial art, or they're not done just because it looks cool or something like that? Are you trying to be pure in some way?
No.
No.
I love my director to tell me everything. Once we've decided what we have to do, and I believe the director always has a better vision than anybody
Right.
on the set. It could be the producer, it could be the actor, anybody. And once we've decided what we have to do, then I enjoy listening to the director.
Right.
Then
So the entertaining comes before the, like, that comes
Everything.
first.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the very first priority. Yeah,
Everything,
Yeah,
yeah.
So, you know, one of the most, I think, well-known examples in the Hindi film industry of somebody who started out as a martial arts kind of actor and went on is Akshay Kumar. He is pretty much.
Rajnikant.
He was not trained martial arts, right?
Yeah, but you can't be doing things without being trained. Yes, he's not officially a trained martial artist, but the way he moves things, you got to be very skilled to do all those things. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are a martial artist without a degree. It's like my cousin, he can fix any car, any bike, but he's not a certified engineer. But he is an engineer.
Right, right. That's really interesting. So Rajnikant comes first. And
Without
then,
a doubt.
Yeah.
He started he started playing a villain. He was not the leading man, and the journey is incredible. Like,
Yeah.
and I say, when I watch him, he looks like a happy man.
Yeah.
I haven't personally been fortuitous to meet him, but he is a happy man, and I've been told people around him feel very good.
Right, and this is always something that I love about him, which is that he's like, this is how I look, and this is how I'm going to be, and I'm not this. People know that I'm a different person on screen, that I'm a different person in real life, and he's just so comfortable with that. That's
Hence a martial artist
and
without a
he's
degree.
Yeah. So if I did not have a stunt director and somebody else, you know, to kind of guide me along a path, let's say I want to get into a zone of physical fitness, what would be, because today one of the biggest things right now is like, get yourself like a personal trainer. They know exactly what's good for you and kind of a thing. Whereas your philosophy is more like, I'm figuring out what's good for my body. I'm doing everything. Should I get a personal trainer? Should I do what explore?
It's different for everybody.
Right.
Like, self-introspection is a very later phase.
Right.
First, you need a teacher who teaches you everything that they know. But the more important thing is to find the right teacher.
Right.
Like, everybody is a teacher. Anybody who's done exercise for about 1 year can tell you about diet and tell you about things. But to find a, like you said, trainer, you need to find a really good trainer who really invests time in you, not just making you push metal or run for long hours, who understands you, he teaches you everything about your body. Number one thing is to find a right trainer, and it's not very easy to find one. So for that, you'll have to go through a lot of trainers to find who really resonates with you.
How do you know you've hit the right?
You will know.
Okay.
You will know. It's not only about results, it's about understanding yourself. A trainer has to be hard. Hard doesn't mean he'll make you do 10 push-ups or 15 push-ups. Hard means he'll make you introspect, he'll make you think. Like, a trainer is very important, a guru is very important.
Right.
We just go to a gym and hire a trainer, and then we don't find results, and then we find shortcuts. So you first find the right person. The right person will tell you if you are in the right field or not. Like you should not be pumping iron. You should be doing gymnastics. You should not be doing gymnastics. You should be playing a racket game. That's where a trainer comes in.
Right.
This is your strength. Okay, you can't do a split. Doesn't mean you really need to do a split. That's the second phase. Let's find what comes naturally to you.
Right, right. And is there anybody that you've considered like a guru?
Lots of
I'm
them.
sure you have
Lots
plenty
of
of them
them.
down
Lots
the
of
years, but is
Lots of
there
them.
anybody who shaped your overall philosophy?
So many people.
Okay.
So many people.
Not one person.
No.
Okay,
no,
okay.
So many people. Like everybody has so much to offer. It depends on what you need, what resonates with you. You got to be a very good student. We always talk about find a good trainer, guru. But are you a good student?
Yeah.
Like, do you really want to listen to that person? Like, can you surrender 100%? If you can surrender 100% to the right person, you will be whoever you want to be.
Right.
It's not easy.
When you say surrender, what does that mean? That means a lot of people would consider this as, why should I live my life if I'm going to give up these foods and these other things and those other things? What do you have to say?
Don't
say
give up
to them?
anything. If
Okay.
something makes you happy, do not give it up.
Okay.
It's like I'm having a good life, now I should mess it up. It's like that. No.
Yeah.
If you enjoy eating something, please enjoy eating it because it's doing something in your body to make you feel happy.
Right.
And ultimately, we're doing everything to be happy, right? So if somebody enjoys eating like lots of idlis, you eat a lot of idli, but then you work towards it.
Vidyut, this is the first time I'm somebody, like I would say, I thought you were going to say gulab jamuns or samosas or something, and you say idlis.
No,
It's actually a healthy food.
No,
Th-
like
this-
everything is healthy. Gulab jamun is healthy too, but don't eat 20 of them.
Gulab jamun is healthy?
Why not? For the mind, for the body, for the soul,
Okay,
for the
right,
spirit,
okay.
everything.
Right, okay, that way, yeah, okay.
Like, yes.
Like, I'm going to feel a lot less guilty about this from now on.
No, you should.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely believe this whole thing of stop carbohydrates, stop drinking water, stop taking salt. I think it's ridiculous. If it makes you happy and you need it, you should have it.
Right.
Why do you see people so angry? Why do you see people depressed, anxious? It's because they're not doing things that they really like to do, but they're doing things that people think they should do.
That's actually a great point. You're depriving yourself a lot of
Yes.
things, and then you end up stressed,
Yep.
and that leads to other negative emotions.
I see people aggressive. They're not eating. Like,
I'm having a little guru session here myself, thanks to you.
yeah, because there are a lot of myths around fitness, and I see it a lot, and especially cinema, because we represent it, and because actors don't drink water, and when you read the interviews, they're honestly telling you that I've
Right.
not been drinking water for the past. But people start emulating them without realizing that they're doing it for a specific purpose. Fitness is different. Everybody can be fit. It's easier to be fit. It's easier to be healthy. It's easier to have a great mind because we're born like that. Once we start desiring things that others have, and we work exactly the way they do, it's all wrong. Everybody has a different journey.
Right. The idea is to do it mindfully.
There are two ways of working out. One, you go to the gym and you come back and you say, wow, I had such a great time. And one is you say, oof, I can't go again tomorrow. I think the wow, I had a great time is what we should be looking for.
Great. So, Vidyut, wow, I had a great time with this interview. I'm going to stop here. Thank you so much for your time. And
thank you.
I really appreciate that you made the time for this despite that injury of yours. So, thanks so much.
Thank you. Injury should not stop anybody. That's a physical pain.
Yeah. Thank you.
But thank you.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
For online one-to-one music lessons with top musicians, visit BMusician.com.